And they were saying, what was up with the parting of the Red Sea? And they said Moses was very spiritually advanced and he had an understanding of the organization of the earth or the elements or something. Hi, welcome back to Meta Moments with Michael and Pasha. We are continuing our journey with the dowsing rods, and it's not so much about the dowsing rods as much as it is the questions that Megan's viewers ask. I had no idea that there was such a volume of curiosity, tens of thousands of questions. And we think there's more room than just the
yes or
no. So
there's a lot of discussions to be had.
Yeah, exactly.
Will there ever be a female pope?
First question, starting it off. Will there ever be a female pope?
I don't think there needs to be. I barely think there needs to be a pope in the first place.
I don't even know what they do, to be fair with you.
I would imagine they're very capable people, but the history of popes is not about capable people. I think right now there's a lot of people that really are invested in that as a clear communication to God. That's okay for them. It's not, I don't hear it the same way. Look, if a beautiful message comes from a pope, wonderful. I don't think it really matters where the message comes from. I don't like quarantine goodness. It's like only that person can say good things that I'm going to listen to.
Yeah.
I would like it if there was
other forms of communication.
Well, I just think the Pope is a messenger and the Pope is a leader. I would certainly vote for more women leaders. I mean, even they're discovering the Egyptian history from thousands of years ago was really more women-centric than archaeologists ever offered, because it was man poo-poo everywhere.
Yep.
Like stray cats just peeing on history, just like, that vase is mine, that pyramid's mine. So, women pope. I'll say no, but I would like women in power in all sorts of ways.
We're not just saying it for political views or anything. We're just
no, legit. I mean.
Yes, thank you. Interesting.
Well, that's a politically correct answer.
True.
Will Puerto Rico no longer be a U.S. territory in the near future?
I have no idea, but I think Puerto Rico should have more powers, more influence, equal. I mean, are they with the U.S. or are they not? I mean,
are they? I don't know. Are they?
Well, they're a territory, is my understanding. And so a territory means kind of like the states will give you scraps. And it's like you're useful to us when you're useful to us. But if you have any problems, you're on your own. Yeah, so
There's some thoughts I have. I'm not gonna say anything.
I've been to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And they don't even have like stop signs in some places.
Oh, wow.
It's like you just come out of the jungle and you're, and then we were driving by and you see this one beautiful facility and they're like, oh yeah, that's a U.S. cemetery or something like that. And it was beautifully kept and this and that. And then just like right across the street, it's like houses barely making it. And I'm like, this is fucked up here.
No answer. Interesting. Thank you. Is that future decided?
Well, this is where consciousnesses can be in conflict with politics, I think, in some ways. You would have to ask the people of Puerto Rico what they want or what they wish. They may wish for more financial stability, but F you to the U.S., we don't need you.
Right.
So I'm hardly a spokesman for either, but I saw great financial disparity between the allocation of funds. It was wild.
How is the future decided? There was no answer whether Puerto Rico is gonna stay with the United States or be independent, so to speak. And now, is the future decided?
Yes, thank you.
How does that make sense?
I don't know. She just said the future, but it's not up to her.
Right.
So it's not up to us either.
Yeah.
It'll be what it'll be.
Yeah.
Are certain crystals mentioned in the Bible because they actually have healing energies?
I think certain crystals have healing energies. I don't know if that's why they're mentioned in the Bible. I don't know what made the cut in the latest version of the Bible or not, but I do believe that stones and gems have a...
Energies?
Yeah. When I was in high school, there was this woman, she said, close your eyes, and I closed my eyes, and she put 2 stones in my hands, and I didn't know. And she said, which one feels warmer? And it was the, without knowing, I chose the ruby that she put in my hand because I felt a hotness there. I was in high school. I mean, 50-50.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think people are drawn more to certain energies? And like, since rocks and crystals can have different energies, people like associate or drawn to a certain type of crystal and
I
or rock?
I think in a subconscious way, just the same way that we're drawn to color. Like you chose a red shirt for some reason today. Either it was
the shirt that I like, I wore last time. I can't wear it twice in a row.
But I'm just saying that there's choices like that that are very soft and subtle.
Yeah.
And I think that as I became more aware of the properties of certain stones, I was like, well, if that's true, I would like that stone. But I'm actually not, I don't wear anything. I don't
yeah.
rings.
I have a watch.
I'm uncomfortable with this thing in my ear.
Yeah.
I don't wear watches. So there's people that know a lot more about it than me. And I think that most people would probably have the position, if I could presume, that they're like, well, if that rock had energy, I could feel it. And because I can't feel it, it doesn't have energy. And I'm thinking, well, without a radio, you can't hear the music.
Yep.
But it's there.
Yeah.
So-
Some things are not visible, but they're there. It's
Exactly.
like you can't see oxygen, but you're breathing.
Well, not with my physical eyes, right?
Right.
So, all right, let's kill it. What else?
Yes, thank you. I don't know what crystals are mentioned in the Bible. Is quartz in there? No, thank you. How about obsidian? Is obsidian in the Bible?
Is obsidian in the Bible? That's questions I haven't read the Bible.
I haven't
so
read the Bible, but we used to go obsidian hunting as kids in Arizona. Yeah, it was fun.
It's the black rock, right?
Yeah, we'd call them
looks like glass.
Apache tears.
Yeah.
What'd
you do with it?
We just put them in our pockets. Apache tears were like the soft black stone.
Yeah.
Obsidian was kind of this sharp,
Yep.
like they used to flint it for blades. We never did that, but it was available in certain parts of Arizona, just laying on the ground.
Is obsidian is it worth something? Like, can you sell it or?
I don't know. Probably
Maybe.
at a rock store for $5.
So is obsidian in the Bible?
I'm gonna say yeah, because
Yeah.
it's a neat stone.
Yes, thank you. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we manifest a pregnancy without sperm?
Can you manifest a pregnancy without sperm?
I can't manifest one with. I mean, I don't think I have this opinion that although there's the biological component, I think it takes a sperm and an egg. I mean, I'm there.
Yeah.
But the when, if they're asking about the manifestation, as a guy who believes in reincarnation, I think that the entity that's incarnating chooses when they're born.
Right.
And it's this collaboration between the parents and the child to be.
I sent you a video, and I don't know if you watched it. It's about the reincarnation and what happens after death. And
Oh, you did? I didn't watch that one. I've seen several, but I will.
Yeah.
Because I had trouble with Facebook, the volume or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
I showed you how to turn it on, but the video talks about how when the person dies, they still have free will, and as a spirit, they can still be there, can be anywhere. Most people go to their own funeral, and then eventually when you want to go, you go to that tunnel where people are like, oh, there's a tunnel with the light at the end of it. And then you go to some sort of heaven, so to speak, and you can hang out there. You also have free will, you can just stay there indefinitely. But if you want to reincarnate, you decide that, okay, I want to reincarnate, and you decide where you want to go. You can choose your parents, you can choose where you go, etc., etc. That's the video that talks about it. And it actually brought up it brought up a point where all that information got out from people doing age regressions under hypnosis. And they asked, so someone would hypnotize them and talk about age regression, and they would go back in time. There were thousands of people, they would say the same exact thing, that they're reincarnate and they're able to choose. As you mentioned, people are able to choose.
Well, it's a lot. I think there's a lot more to it. That's a pretty good thumbnail sketch. And we have age regressions on one of our YouTube platforms called Meditations. They're from Creative Guidelines with Don Weldon, who you've heard mentioned many times. And Don Weldon used to channel every Wednesday night different entities for an hour every Wednesday. It was Wednesday night channeling. But before that, there were periods in his in the spiritual center that he operated. He was a hypnotist, and he would have certain people who were great subjects for age regression. And my friend Fran is recorded in many of them with some really great stories, and it goes before Earth. The timeline for us on Earth is a lot longer according to those age regressions. Now, those age regressions on meditations on YouTube, I stopped uploading some of them because the quality wasn't so good, and also the tapes were badly mashed up. Because we received the tapes from many different sources, like I keep meeting people and they would send in tapes, and some had been
re-recorded over.
Re-recorded. So I thought those are too important. But in those tapes, you hear people speaking other languages. We have ancient Polynesian, ancient Atlantean, and something else. It's fascinating. So if there's linguists out there and they hear these tapes, we'll bring up the screen or whatever you do as an editor.
Check them out.
But as far as what happens when you die, I believe that, and I was reading this quote today, it was really good. It says, your body doesn't have a soul, your soul has a body. And it's a good perspective shift. But I think that people who die with different spiritual understandings skip certain aspects. I think there's some people that are near death and they just sort of step across. They're already, you hear dementia, right? It's another dimension. I mean, it's not exactly that, but I think that if I was a super spiritually advanced person, I'm not going to have the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to move into something that's already familiar to me.
Yeah.
Because the other dimensions are not like a surprise to me.
Which is like, oh, I'm just going to another room to grab a soda, and it's just kind of like the same.
I think if someone's that spiritually evolved, they're already connected with their teachers and guides, they're already connected with their spiritual family, they've already understood why their life course was organized here in the physical, and they probably already understand where they're going next. Because there's been that kind of cross communication. I think that if I was not aware of metaphysics and I see a blind person, I would go, oh my God, I don't know how I would live my life blind. I couldn't drive, I couldn't this, that.
That's what I'm thinking, right?
But what if we're all blind? I mean, or many of us. How do you describe to a blind person, right? Does a blind person see things when they dream? What's their dream?
No.
I don't know.
I've also watched the video because internet exists, and so whatever you see when you close your eyes, it's like the black. It's not black, it's called a certain color, whatever. And the question was, do blind people see that? And no, they don't. They see nothing. Like, I don't know how to explain or how to describe it, but they see nothing.
They interviewed every blind person.
No, no.
So it's the same thing that the other day, it's like I saw a different color here than you saw on that painting.
There is no
it's
blue.
It's actually drawing. Well, the blue is right there.
That is true. Oh,
so
yeah.
The lights.
Can we manifest a pregnancy without sperm?
Oh wow, we went on, didn't we?
We did.
Okay, next.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. I mean, Christ was born.
You know, Don used to say in Atlantis that when a parent, they lived a long time, as according to these other metaphysicians, that when somebody wanted a child or they agreed to have a child experience, that they manifested not always as a baby, that they could manifest coming in as a younger child or something like this, and that it wasn't through conception. So the idea is very old, but it's not like I have any scoop on it. It's just things I've heard people that I thought had unique perspectives say.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered more. I was a teenager when this guy was saying all this stuff. I'm like, I was barely.
Write your notes, Michael.
I have a lot of notes here, but
Yeah.
Yana knows where they are, and Yana's far away now, so.
Yeah.
Can we manifest a human pregnancy without sperm?
Didn't she just ask that?
Well, in general, she was like, can we manifest pregnancy without sperm? Now, it's more specified where it's, can we manifest human?
Well, I feel like that's what we've been talking about, so.
So, sort of yes, sort of no?
Why not? I mean, I like thinking all things are possible.
Yeah?
No, thank you.
I can't.
Dowsing, I'd say no. I don't know.
Did Jesus really walk on water?
Did Jesus really walk on water?
I have no idea, but I would imagine that if he wanted to walk on water, he could. Again, in the age regressions that we just talked about in meditations, somebody was regressed to I think it was Fran, was regressed to the time of Moses. And they were saying, what was up with the parting of the Red Sea? And they said Moses was very spiritually advanced and he had an understanding of the organization of the earth or the elements or something. I don't remember the wording that they used because it was not common English words. And in the message they said the Red Sea was not parted. It was the withdrawal of the current before an earthquake. And so he knew that there would be a safe time to cross, and they crossed, and then after that the waters rushed in. That's why they say they found artifacts of Roman soldiers or something like that. I don't know. But it was a fantastic telling of a different take of the parting of the Red Seas, being somebody well aware of the Earth's actions. I don't know, it's pretty far out stuff.
It is pretty far out.
Because even if you do that, I mean, it's like kind of, it's kind of muddy, right? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that stuff. It's just,
it could be just tied to,
it's a great curiosity to me, but I have so many other curiosities that the Red Sea is not one of them. I'm just trying to kind of get through the next day, week, month, year, you know? I'm curious about that.
I'm there too, but also thinking about the history in the past and how things were and all these tales, whether they're true or not.
But I'm not going to get the confirmation that I need. And even if I did receive the confirmation, that confirmation would be for me exclusively. I would not persuade anybody, I don't think. They say there's, this was another funky metaphysical thing, that there were devices that were recording imagery in ancient history, and that they are not yet ready to be revealed for some reason. I heard one was involved with the location of the Sphinx in a pyramid, and that they were taking pictures of those times. So that's weird. And we think of taking pictures like a camera, maybe a totally different device. You saw Star Wars, right? There was projections and crystals, and who knows? I think that it's really easy to try to force all of the potential historic realities into current technology. And people will say, well, if all of that exists at such an advanced civilization, where are the records? Where's all that stuff, right?
Could be all taken.
Yeah, but think of what a terabyte is now, you know? I mean, it keeps getting smaller and smaller. It's like you could lose the Library of Congress on the size of a penny. And buildings come and go, right? I mean, you see people tearing down old, beautiful things. And even in ancient histories, they have layers of civilizations, and those layers were repurposing stones from different times. I'm not a historian on that. I just think about it enough to go, well, I'm not going to force my construct on that. I'll just kind of go with it.
Yeah.
What I believe doesn't really matter to anybody else, so that I know of. It doesn't matter to you.
Well, I'm curious.
I'm curious too, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
Your life will go on just fine whether
you telling me whether Jesus did walk on water or did not walk on water is not going to change my, you know, tonight's plans.
It wouldn't change. Right, exactly. Exactly. We'll be,
So.
Yes, thank you.
Why didn't they ask about Jonah and the whale? Because Jonah getting swallowed and then spit up by the whale?
Oh, it could happen actually, because it has happened.
Okay, well again, that's putting in the construct of our biological understanding of a whale. But I think that the Bible, I'm somebody who believes that the Bible is full of metaphors. And there's a lot of people that think everything in the Bible is exactly word for word. That's all right. That's just not my holding of that.
Yeah, people can interpret things differently.
It's totally groovy.
Yeah.
Does the universe strategically place certain people onto your path who will trigger you in your shadow to ascend to the next version of yourself?
To me, that's a heavy, yeah. I believe that.
Can you elaborate?
It was the one time I wasn't going to.
I know.
I think that I'm constantly coming in contact with situations and people that are to help me expose some sort of lack of understanding or lack of appreciation or something of that. Stressful situations like that repeat. Somebody says, oh, I'm going to move there because my life is going to be better, and yet something of that situation, the energy of that situation follows them. And I mean, you know, I've had almost 2 years of situations that are for very specific reasons, I think, for my soul's growth. There's physical implications of those situations, but the way I internalize them is, I have to go through all this, stuff, being vague on purpose, but I think there's a bigger reason for it, so I'll ride it out. It's when I forget that or I get lost in it. Like last night I was lost in it again, and I thought, oh, this is what somebody with OCD, they can't escape their own thoughts. And it felt like I felt like I couldn't escape my own thoughts, so what I did was I just started saying thank you.
Huh.
Thank you for this pillow. Thank you for this blanket. Thank you for my wife next to me. Thank you for this bed. Thank you. And gradually I got more and more expansive. You see, I started with something. And it's not that I felt gratitude, but it interrupted the cycle. And I think it vibrationally interrupted the cycle because I was in a trap. I was like, oh my God, how am I ever going to get away from this thought?
Yeah, it's like anxiety, it's just there.
It owned me. And I'm like, I don't want to be owned by this. And even if I were a billionaire and I'm having this thought, I'm not really a billionaire in my mind.
Right, you're just a person that's dealing with
I might have
stress.
different strategies to throw at it, more resources. But it allows for a weakness. It's kind of like, well, I don't have to walk because they push me around in a golden chair all day. And then I have weak legs. Right? I don't think that's not, if you're, the abundance still requires, financial abundance doesn't mean spiritual abundance. And spiritual abundance, in my mind, I'm projecting in the sense of things that help us feel calm and know our place. And there's very successful people who feel hollow inside. They're materially successful, they have achievements and lots of accolades. But that hollowness sometimes is not easy to see because they don't talk about it, but there's something not at ease. I talked about this with Elon Musk. Elon Musk. And I thought, well, he's got all these physical skills and stuff, but he just seems like he's at war with himself, you know. That's my
Yeah.
I remember this girl that I was dating, she was the psychologist in college. I remember dating a genius. And this was at the height of Jim Carrey's popularity. And she said, I think he's suffering terribly from depression. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's on top of it.
He sure is.
Well,
now that it's coming up.
25, 30 years later, you know? And I don't know, I think some things are easy for other people to see that I'm not trained. I don't see the truth in people. I'm naive, so.
You're learning though, right?
I hope so. Doesn't feel like it all
the
the time.
situations that you go through.
Where I trusted and it
gives you more experience and potentially certain things to look for in the people.
Well, I hope so. And then Fran, who's been kind of digging into my astrological things, she's like, oh, you got this something with Pluto. And she says, Pluto is a fog, which means you can't see certain things. She says, just not in it's one of your life paths. You have to overcome this energy of Pluto. I don't know what that means. Apparently, there's some sort of tie-in, but I also feel like it's convenient to be able to tie things in when I don't understand the depth of it. So if you're a surgeon, you could conveniently explain the working of the brains to me because what do I have to counter that? I could go, no, I don't think so.
Right.
But I'm not a brain surgeon guy.
Right, you can't. Well,
I remember this interview. It was like one of these Nightline things, and they were following people that are intensely in their career. And there was a very contentious political thing, way years before the last couple of administrations. And they were interviewing this husband and wife, and they were both neurosurgeons. And they were like, what's your day like? And they're like, I'm up, and it was like full. And they said, do you know who the vice president is?
No.
They're like, no, it doesn't impact my day.
Right.
It doesn't impact a dying person in front of me. Do you know the president? That would be, they're like, well, yeah, I know the president, but it didn't go, it was so
They're so in their
hyper-focused.
own little world that they're not
Thank
really.
God, because if you ever need a neurosurgeon, I don't want somebody who's worried about
Oh
some
yeah, you want someone
comedy
to be
show.
focused and
Yeah. So it's incredible.
for sure. So the universe does send you people.
For me, I would say, as much as I can use the word absolutely, I'll say absolutely. I feel strong about that one.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Are celebrities glitching a real thing?
What is that?
Oh my God. So there are a lot of online videos where I don't know if they're fake, made with AI, or if it's just like a little skit, but there are famous people glitching. So like say someone's at a concert filming a video of a performer, and performer is like is a video game glitching. Say they're twitching, or I don't know, I'd have to look up the video.
Though?
And I keep your emotions and I deal with your emotions over here. But when it comes time for business, I implement what you told me on the emotion side into handling it in a professional manner, because sometimes it's hard for you to
I mean,
We could, but like, oh, we live in a matrix, you know, like all that. Like, is it all glitching? Could it be? Is it? What was the question?
I don't
Is
know.
it a
There's
real
things
thing?
observed because we all have cameras. There's things observed that
Yeah.
didn't used to be observed. And I've never had the stresses of being on stage. I would glitch or twitch, I don't know. Is that what you're talking about?
Sort of.
Is it like they disappear and reappear?
No, that would be.
It's like they say a word and then they repeat the word? What is a glitch?
I would have to look up a video of something.
I'm gonna say no.
Are celebrities glitching a real thing? Yes, thank you.
Thank you for sticking around with us and watching us discuss the questions that are presented to Megan from
Solar Glow.
Solar Glow Meditations. Thank you to the Dowsing Rods for allowing us to answer and discuss the questions with them. And we hope you guys join us in the next video because we have a lot more questions to answer and discuss.
And a personal thank you to Megan. Megan, thank you for what you do and creating a community that generates these questions and staying with this every week and giving your personal time to it. So we otherwise would have never come in contact in any way, shape or form with her. And she seems like a real gentle spirit. So thank you, Megan. We appreciate it. 69th place. And she said, do you know, one time, she said, my brother came in scared to death. And she said it was, he told me this Bigfoot story. Her boss is like, this is a sane woman that I've known for 20 years, and now all of a sudden, this is the first time I've ever heard the word Bigfoot come out of her mouth. Hans is like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I'll tell you. She said,